Hello, how you doing? It was pretty late at night, but usually up. And since I haven't happened to be up tonight, I just want to do this video. But by the way, it's your homeboy, your brother, you know what I'm saying? The king, the god on earth, you know what I'm saying? Tehuti Heru, you know. And I just want to do this video. It's a topic that's been on my mind for a few. So I would like to share it. The topic is relationships. What is the real meaning of love? What is the real meaning of a real man or real woman? And what is the meaning of not meaning what causes longevity between two people? So that being said, I want to pull something from a book that I've read. I read it and I'm reading it again, like for the second time around. But this book is called Afrocentric Guide to a Spiritual Union, and the author's name is Raun Nefer Amen. And in chapter one of this book, he has a thing. Pretty much what this book does, it compares Eastern society, which is our people mostly, the Africans and things like that. It compares Eastern society to Western society. This book pretty much compares as to why so many relationships fail over here at a high rate level as opposed to over there, which was with a low rate level. And in the first chapter of the book, chapter one is culture. You see, culture, the fundamental causes and solutions to the problems and all in the relationships. I'm trying to read it backwards. Oops. I'm trying to read it backwards. I ain't gonna lie. The fundamental cause and solution of the problems in the relationship of men and women. That's what it says. So, culture. That's what that is like. As the first. I see why brother Amin chose to put that in the front of the book, because culture plays a huge part in how you are as a person. Culture. So culture is how you were raised. Um, I believe you can change because I've changed. Culture. I come from a ghetto environment. In New Orleans, Louisiana. So I've been living in Dallas, Texas for a few years. It's good out here, but it has its parts and things like that. That I've experienced. um, and yeah, culture. So the reason I said all of that is because a lot of people like to use the excuse, "Oh, that's how I was raised. That's how I am," which is true to an extent because there's some things that I still do that I've been doing since I was a kid, but it's just like nothing bad or anything. But a lot of people tend to want to just be one way and they use the same excuse all of the time. That's how I am. I was born like that. That's how I've been all my life. But if it's something that's good, like something I've been doing since I was a kid, I always like if I eat I be being a vegetarian now, like I hardly ever eat ice cream. But when I would fix ice cream, instead of it letting it just melt naturally, I would always put it in the microwave and melt it a little bit. That's something I've always done since I was a kid. So, but that's nothing that's harming anyone. That's just something I do. But if it's something that you are doing and it's harming people, it's causing you to have a lot of bad relationships, bad friendships, cause you to lose out on jobs and things like that. And I'm speaking from personal experiences when I say that because I was once that type of person until I wanted to make that change for myself and become a better person. So, um, yeah. So culture. What's the culture in the Western Hemisphere here in America? Um, Everybody's materialistic. It's all about what you have, how much it costs, and that's who the guy or the girl is. The person who has the most material possessions. It doesn't matter about how you are on the inside or anything. It just mainly depends on who has the who has the most material possessions. So the culture teaches you that the person that doesn't have all of these material possessions, they're not nobody. So majority, I'm not saying all people, but majority of people in this culture, in this society, that's how they are programmed. That's how they are programmed. So that's why a lot of relationships fail because every woman is looking for the rich guy. Not every, majority of women are looking for the rich guy, the gangster guy, the hood nigga or whatever like that. And guys are looking for the all the guys are looking for the video girl, the model chick they see on TV. And both parties wants want certain characteristics out of these people that just let it look a certain way. But just it looks like that doesn't work that way. So with that being said, it is a true statement that looks isn't everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, if you are, oops, my camera getting a little jacked up. I'm using my phone and it's on charge and I got the charger thing sticking up so it kind of keep falling. But if you, where was I before that camera fell? I can't remember where I was. I can't remember where I was. But anyway, like I said, if that was that's the culture, you know. And what it is that is a self hate kind of deal. That is that self hate kind of deal. Like that's all that is. Oh, I know where I was. The 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 males are looking for they're looking for I guess you can say the males are looking for like a Claire Huxtable out of the video vixen and the and the women are looking for like a Cliff Huxtable out of these guys that they go after. And from my experiences, from other people's experiences, it just seems not to work that way. Now, oh, this is where I was for sure. Don't get me wrong. Um, Looks isn't everything, but of course, you have to be somewhat attracted to that person. I mean, if there's no attraction, it's like that's like the doorway. That's like the door. I mean, you have to have some kind of attraction to that person, you know. Um, but I feel that it doesn't matter what no one else thinks. If you're attracted to that person, it doesn't matter what other people think. But in this society, in this culture, that's what that's one of the main things that is pinpointed. They point out the government and things like that. People who control all of it. They point out the negative things in people, and they make that the main focal points. So that way, that's all people do is point out each other's differences and fight and be against each other. While the higher ups or the powers that be, as some of you all refer to them as, they make all of the money and keep people divided on differences and things like that. So it messes up the culture. As to um over there in the Eastern lands, it's not really, maybe probably some of that going on, but it's not majority of it going on. over there they actually have tribes and cultures and civilizations where there are rules. Like if you are married, you can't step out on your husband or your wife. It's a penalty for that. You may have to. I mean, it sucks that it is, but in some cultures, they may they may you may get murdered. I mean, it's kind of weird. But I mean, look what it's for though. If you be faithful to your wife or your husband, you won't have to worry about getting murdered. But I still think that is too much of a harsh thing to do. I can see a beating or not a beating, but you have to do something probably against your will because you messed up and things like that. But that's pretty cool for as that aspect. But if you just be faithful, whoever your wife or your husband is, speaking to both parties when I say this, just be faithful and work things through, and you won't have to worry about none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So they have a lot of civilizations and things put in place that kind of not forced, but before you take that step, you have to really know this is somebody you really, 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 really want to take that step with, because you step outside of that, you never know. But that's just one thing. That's just how one civilizational culture maybe. You have other cultures that do other things, but pretty much it's a structure and it's a balance. It's a balance, and that's what life is about. Life is about balance, and so that's what makes a balance. That's what makes you say the way those structures are set up over there. Some of them. Them. That's what makes them so structured. That's why marriages last longer, relationships last longer, and things like that. Now, I'm not saying it's everybody in the Eastern Hemisphere that's like that, but it's the majority that are like that, as opposed to here in the West Hemisphere, divorce rates are up more than like any other country. Divorce rates are up, breakups are up, homes without fathers and things like that. And it just all comes from one thing called self hate. So, with that being said, um, that's culture. Some people grow up in certain environments and they don't want to make a change, so it messes them up in relationships, or they may meet someone just as messed up as them. And it might be good at first, but eventually each other's messed up sides start coming to a head, and all kind of tension break out. So that's one. And the other thing is the real man, real woman thing. So um, I don't want to make a too long video. I'll just make a part two, and I'll continue on with the real man, real woman thing. So I'm gonna just sign off right here, and y'all stay tuned for part two. Tehuti Heru. Peace. One love.